Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig in with another edition of Coach's Corner brought to you by Comco. We head up to Akron, home of the Archbishop Hoban Knights, the defending Division One state champion Archbishop Hoban Knights basketball team with their head coach, Mr. TK Griffith, joining us today. Coach, how are you doing? How have you been?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm at a principals conference here in Sandusky, Ohio, for the Diocese of Cleveland, and I'm sitting there, weirdly enough, in a hotel room because that's the only place I could find some privacy here. For anybody wondering why the heck I'm in a hotel room, I have not been kicked out of my house yet by my wife, but I'm sure.
I love how
Coach,
he added yet.
Coach, before we start talking about this season, you've been on cloud nine. Every time we've talked, you tell me it still didn't feel real. As it started setting in, does it start feeling real now that you get ready for this season, the defending state one champions?
No, I don't think it'll ever feel real, to be honest with you. That was such a I don't know why the word glorious just came to my mind. I've never said glorious in my life, but I guess it was kind of like, I don't know. It was almost like a dream, and I think it'll always be like a dream, to be frank, because we're not necessarily the program that is known to win state championships in D1, and it was just special. It's always going to be kind of hazy and just a wonderful memory in my life. But we're not relishing in it or anything like that, but it's always something that you can kind of lean on if you're having a bad day and just say, wow, I can't believe that happened. That was really cool.
Coming off a season like that can obviously bring a lot of momentum and a winning standard, but how are you trying to let these guys not compare themselves to last year and let them realize we're a brand new team? Like that team, it was great. It's done. They're not coming back, and we're a new roster. We have to go do it again.
No doubt. And I think hopefully our guys, we're not the type of personalities, I don't think coaching wise, to ever say words like that. The kids are, 9 seniors graduated. The large majority of the roster is not back, especially right now during the preseason because of football. So if we ever kind of maybe said words even to that effect, it would definitely be when we had our whole team in front of us. But we really try not to coach like that and compare one team to the other. I'm sure when you're having a bad day, you might say something like that. But these guys, they need our full support and our help in helping them grow as basketball players. The current players, they just need us to invest in them and not worry about the past and just try to be as good as we can be this year, like we always have done. So hopefully we won't throw out comparisons a lot unless it was what we need to win, like somebody needs to take a charge or die for a loose ball, but it's not going to be, this is how you win state championships. I don't think there's so many variables that went into that, luck being one of them, that I would hesitate to ever use words like that.
Coach, I want to take a chance to talk about the team a little bit. Obviously, like you said, the football team having success. So I know you're not complaining about not having those guys back right now, but we could still project some guys that are going to be impact players on this team. What do you expect to have on this squad this year for the Hoban Knights?
Yeah, I think our top maybe 7 or 8 guys will be Jonas Nichols as our lead guard. Obviously, probably should go down as one of the best players ever in Hoban history, if not for sure. We would like to think he'll be our leading scorer if he has a good season this year. So that's kind of special. A guy that just broke his wrist in our scrimmage last night. So if I sound a little depressed, I am. Kenny Scott is our point guard. He transferred in from Glen Oak. And he's a really good high school basketball player who wants to be a college basketball player. He's a junior. No relation to Will Scott. He's a little bit smaller than Will, but he's a pretty feisty competitor. I think Kenny has a good chance to start. Obviously, he'll start once his wrist gets better, just based on what he did for us this summer. Sam Greer, if he's healthy, again, another guy who's battling an injury that he had in football. But to all the information that I have, he's going to make a good go of it for basketball season. And we hope his brother Josh does too, because there's a chance that maybe both Greers could even start, depending on what lineup we're playing, or what we look like as we continue to grow and figure this team out. Joey Hardman would be a really important piece of the puzzle. He was our 6th or 7th man last year, mostly 6th man, and had so many huge plays for us. And this year, I think his role will have to change, where he's a little bit more counted on to do more in longer periods of time. But he did a lot last year too. But maybe not come off the court that much. And then there's a couple of juniors that are vying for some time. Cameron Ensley has had a pretty good summer. James McCarthy is a really good penetrator and has a nice little floater mid-range type of game. And then Bub Jennings has a chance. He was a JV guy. I think Brady Lucy kind of understands how we want to play. There's some other role guys like a Sam Costco. I'm missing a bunch of guys. If anybody's listening to this, folks, sorry, my head's in another place right now. But there's some other guys that I'm not thinking of. Some football guys, maybe like Ace Brown and Jackson Calloway. Some of those guys might vie for some spots too.
Coach, this is the time of the interview where we're talking about your schedule. Usually we start with conferences, but since you're independent, I guess we jumped right into just the teams you're so excited to go up against and the teams that you know are going to really test you and get you ready for the tournament this year.
Yeah, we have a heck of a schedule to me, in my estimation anyways. We open up with the Reynolds Classic. I don't know much about Firestone right now. I'm a guy who usually gets ready about a week before each game, so I'm going to wait on that a little bit just to see if we can get some good scrimmage film on them. Warren JFK on the road, they were really good last year, and they have everybody back. I know that's a team that we're supposed to beat, maybe because we're a bigger school, but I don't really think you take that for granted. Louisville has a really good chance to beat us. They're such a tough team to play on the road. We saw them down in Florida. I mean, they're actually really good. They're really good this year. They might even be more talented across the board than we are as far as experience goes. I know he'll slap me for saying that, Tom would, but besides Jonas, I think they have a bunch of guys who know how to play together, and we're just trying to form a team. But then we've got the big dogs on there. You've got like Green, Centerville is coming in, St. V, McKinley, Hoover. There's a bunch of big dogs on there coming down. Lincoln, Lutheran West. So many tough games that I try not to look too far ahead, so I kind of pretend that it doesn't exist yet. But there's a bunch of them on there. Walsh, obviously. There's so many good teams on there. Gilmore. It's a tough schedule. It is.
I mean, Coach, I know you're so entrenched with Hoban as a school, as a program too, not just in the sports, but as a school success as well. I know one thing you're always so proud of is just academically how successful each one of these kids are. Talk to me about how important academics is preached amongst the coaching staff as well, and how proud you are of having such great GPAs amongst the whole team.
Yeah, probably one of our biggest accomplishments, besides the obvious win of the state championship, is the transformation of certain kids who really buy into the Hoban spirit and the Hoban mission of being student athletes and transformational people for others. So Jonas Nichols, I just want to say this, got a 3.85 in his first quarter for the first time ever in his life. He's a summa cum laude first quarter student. Now, if he can do that 3 times in a row, he'll actually get to go to our summa cum laude event. That's a lot of pressure. I don't want to put that on him. Even if he doesn't reach that, he's still somebody who has really bought into the academic side of Hoban, and that makes me super proud. A lot of the other guys, that doesn't discount the other guys who might have already been 3.85 students, like Cameron Ensley, Joey Hardman, James McCarthy. They're all of our guys are really good students right now. For the most part, they're probably 3.5 and above, if not 4.0 and above. So that doesn't mean there's not room for the guy who's, maybe not the classical good student, because they might be great kids too, right? A lot of the CEOs in the country are C students who aren't afraid to take risks and stuff like that. So I don't want to say it's just about people who get A's and B's. It doesn't diminish the humanity of anybody else, but it also, when they can invest in what's important, that makes me feel a lot better when we do win. If we have winning seasons, you don't want to win just on the court and then have a bunch of bums who don't really care about school. That doesn't represent Hoban well.
Coach, we know academics are important in Hoban. We also know one of the things that makes Hoban a hallmark is their community outreach that you guys do, the things that you do to show the people that come to your games and the community that comes to supports you that you're there for them too. What does doing stuff like that for this team do for not just, the kids, but the chemistry and the just the morale of the team to be able to go and help out the community?
Yeah, we just had and I'll give Coach Ian Adams all the credit for this. I myself have done Project Hope a few times, but Ian decided to have our basketball players go out with him. He took that one for me and had about 7 or 8 of our kids. I know some young guys went. Brady Lucy went. I can't remember. A few older guys went too, but I really appreciated Ian doing that for our guys. And Coach Adams is a huge part of the program too. And just the whole Hoban, I wouldn't say the basketball program does anything that's all that special, more special than what Hoban does. And our service department, our campus ministry, our spiritual engagement, our religion teachers and theology teachers. It's the whole experience. I mean, we're just a part of the experience. We run a nice youth tournament and we do this, that, and the other, but I can't say that we're, doing leaps and bounds above what other people are doing. I just think it's the whole holistic Hoban experience that allows kids to appreciate what you just mentioned.
Coach, I know you can't do it by yourself, and I know you always love giving credit to your staff. You mentioned Ian Adams, but I want to give you the chance to take it a step further. Give credit to all those staff members that help you out and build this program to what it is and what it continues to be.
Thanks. So Norm Jesser and Tony Threadgill and Tim Lucy, not in that order, guys, if they're listening too. I doubt they listen, but I think they might sometimes. I don't know what they do in their free time, but Norm Jesser, Tony, and Ian, first of all, they got me through the summertime, and they handle a lot of the skill development and open gym type of stuff. You can't really coach in those anyway, so it doesn't matter necessarily if your head coach is there. I usually pop into almost everything, but those guys run all that for me, and I couldn't coach without them. And then Tim Lucy during the season is my right-hand man. He handles a lot of the substitutions and a lot of the tough scenarios. And then Matt Vowles is like our director of basketball operations along with Mike McDonald. They handle all kinds of logistical stuff. Matt plans our entire youth tournament with 50 teams, and it's this weekend actually, and it's going to be a huge weekend. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's always rewarding once you get there and just start building relationships with people and just seeing the kids having fun playing basketball. So Matt Bowles, kudos to Matt for that. Kudos to Mike McDonald, Robbie Griffith, and Solomon Clemens do my freshman team. There's so much to talk about. I'm sure I just forgot about 3 people, Hank Inman, the scorekeeper, and everybody else, but hopefully they know we love them. And I can't get to everybody, but those are the ones that I think of right now.
Coach, I also want to give you the opportunity to, it's kind of like a running theme we're doing this year with all head coaches. It's the love of the sport of basketball. It's what got us started in the sport. It's what keeps us going every single year, whether we're playing it, coaching it, press box, referee, doesn't matter, right? Where'd that love of the sport of basketball begin for you, Coach? Do you have a pinpoint time or an earliest memory?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, it was all I really lived for. My parents were divorced when I was really little, and I went back and forth between my mom and dad, but each of them had a hoop in the driveway. And I would just sit out there for my whole life. I was out there shooting baskets in the snow or the rain or whatever. And then eventually that led to going up to Stowe High School and playing with the older guys. They turned the car lights on and play until like 11 o'clock up at Old Stowe High School. And I would always try to get in those games up there. And then, of course, driving into Akron to Firestone Park and Krogan Park and trying to play outside. Not that I was any good, but I tried to do what I could do. Ended up getting cut as a sophomore at Hoban, and that really changed my life because I worked my darndest to make the team the next year, and I did. So then made it my senior year. We won the state championship my senior year, and I was just a reserve player. I didn't get in much, but it was just such a pleasure to be a part of that experience with Coach Gross and my friends, Danny Heidemann, Bo Sloan, Derek Owens, and a million other guys, Aaron McGee that I'm going to forget to mention. So it's always been a part of my DNA, but my dad, Tim Griffith, and Tom Goodall, they were my mentors who coached my teams growing up at Holy Family Parish School in Stowe, Ohio. So a lot of that, those are some of my memories. I could talk forever about it, but those are the snippets.
Coach, I'll take it one step further. What about your love for coaching? Obviously, you're coming back to it every year. You got to love the job and love the ability to work with kids. When did you fall in love with the coaching aspect of the game?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely winning that state championship. All I ever cared about, even when I was in college in my classes, I'd be sitting there drawing plays, whether it was for our flag football team or basketball. All I ever wanted to be was a coach. In fact, I kind of became an English teacher because of coaching, but I think I ended up learning how to become a good English teacher over time. But when I was down in Texas, I started coaching at St. Michael's Academy, It was a local high school, and they actually offered me their head coaching job the day that our U-Haul was packed up. My wife and I were going out to come back to Kent State University to enter a master's program. So I had to pass that job up, and then 3 weeks later, I got the Hoban job when I was 21 years old. So I've been doing it ever since. I'm 52 now. This is my 31st year, and it's really all I've ever known. So I've had to grow up through coaching, and it humbles you. It's kind of why I wanted to come back this year. I don't think it would have been me to end on such a high. I think sometimes that adversity and the pain of coaching, it teaches you so much about yourself. And we're going to have a ton of adversity this year. I know we are, and I kind of like to work myself through that, or work other people through it. I say that now, but I might regret saying that. But it is kind of fun to problem solve and figure out adversity.
Coach, we absolutely love having the Hoban Knights as a part of YSN and the whole family, too. We love having all your programs each and every season. I'm so excited for a basketball season, me personally. I know I'm going to be at quite a few Hoban Knights games once again this year, too. So we'll cross paths during the season. So we're excited for it, Coach.
Well, I really appreciate you guys following us. And we made you guys work some extra hours last year. Hopefully we'll get you home earlier this spring. But if we don't and we go on another run, that'd be pretty cool.
Coach, I will never complain about working overtime for you guys, no doubt. We appreciate your time, Coach, and we'll definitely talk again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the legend himself over there at Archbishop Hoban High School, Mr. TK Griffith.
Thank you, guys.